Nah, not quite.
What's up?
Sell my car in Carvana. It's just not quite the right time.
Crazy coincidence. I just sold my car to Carvana.
What? I told you about it 2 days ago.
When you know, you know. You know? I'm even dropping it off at one of those sweet car vending machines and getting paid today.
That's a good deal.
Oh, great deal. Come on. What's your heart saying?
You're right. When you know...
You know.
Sold.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. My name is Kelly Fitzgerald. I am your host. Today, we are shining a light on Tyree Morrow. I cannot tell you how creative and talented he is. It's an incredible honor for me to have you on the show. So thanks so much for taking the time out to do the show. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me on. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, in full disclosure, you have worked with me on a project of my own, but you have done so many things with so many other people in, over 10 years that you've been doing this. Your animation studio is Creative Overdose Studios, which I absolutely love that name. I'm just wondering, is there a particular project that you've worked on that has really, really been a lot of fun for you?
There was a project that we worked on called SSBB, and it's Super Shorty Bang Bang. It was for some clients of ours are based in California. They're from Atlanta, but they live in California. And it was a short animated trailer that we did for them for their comic book because they wanted to turn this into a TV series. And it was super fun, and it kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone a bit, but it was just super fun. It's one of the animations that plays on our demo reel on our website.
Nice. Fun. Yeah, I've noticed in just watching your posts on social media and even looking at your website, you tend to have a lot of different kinds of characters, and you tend to incorporate some martial arts type things in your animation. Is that something that you do in your life? You teach martial arts? Do you practice martial arts? How does the martial arts aspect come into your animation?
Yeah, I actually I teach Shotokan karate, and I've been doing that for like almost 20 years. But I've been training in martial arts since I was like 6 years old. And
wow.
So, I don't know. I just like the action and the movement, so I try to incorporate that into my animation. So it's just fun. I'll do boxing stuff or wrestling stuff if I want to try a wrestling animation, but like anything striking, I try to incorporate that in my animations or do like little tests and stuff. I get motion and stuff. So it's pretty fun. It's challenging.
It really comes through in even a lot of the works in progress that you've posted on your social media. That aspect really comes through. And I would think that would be a really kind of a difficult thing, incorporating action into drawings. But with animation, I can see where that would be a lot easier. Did you probably, I'm guessing, started out with drawing? Have you always drawn?
Yeah, I've always drawn. Like, I've been drawing since I was a kid. Yeah, me and my mom would draw a lot when I was younger. And then my mom said she stopped drawing with me because she saw that I started getting better than her. So she kind of just left me to it. She was like, here, I'll buy you all the things, and that's what I did. I just always drawn. I've always drawn. So if it was, I'd pick up comic books and try to draw the characters in the comic books and, Warner Brothers, cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, anything I could draw, I would try to draw it. Lady and the Tramp, I would try to draw all the time because I liked that cartoon as a kid and Jungle Book and stuff, so I would always try to copy and duplicate that stuff.
It's really amazing to me when anyone has that much talent. I have very little talent with drawing, but You are just amazingly talented. How did, I guess the animation was just sort of a logical progression. How did you first get into that?
I told myself, and I know sometimes it's kind of funny to hear. Some people are like, "No, you didn't," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I did." So it's like, ever since I was a kid, like just drawing, I always said I wanted to do two things, and it was either or. I was either going to be a martial artist, or I was going to be an animator. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything else. And then after I went to college for it, after drawing in high school, doing contests and stuff like that, and I was really interested in animation. So I went to school for it, and I was still actually training karate at the same time. And when I talked to my instructor about it, I was like, yeah, I really want to go into the animation field, but I don't know if I'll be able to train still. And all he said was, why can't you do both? And I was like, yeah, why can't I? And so I've continued to do both. I do both, and I picked up a couple of other things that I could manage too with that. And so I'm learning how to. Well, I'm not learning. I'm doing all the things that I want to do, and not having to sacrifice any of my passions for it.
And that's the point where we all aspire to get to. How did Creative Overdose Studios come about? Do you do this by yourself? Do you have other people that work with you? How is it created?
Oh, I have a solid team. Very talented artists, animators, and web designers, graphic designers. Like they do it all, man, and they're really good. But to make a long story long, I mean, like we started in college actually, because my business partners are people that I went to college with. They're my friends from college. And Our sophomore year, we came up with a concept for an animation studio because we were inspired by Ralph Bakshi. He was doing a video, a panel, and he was talking about starting an animation studio. He was like, you don't have to always, go to school and then beg for a job from these big studios. He was like, with all of you in this room, in the video he was talking, he's like, with everybody in the room, there's enough of you in here right now to start your own studio. He was like, I did my studio in a garage with 5 people, and he made Fritz the Cat. And that, I was like, wait a minute, you telling me that I don't have to just go get a job? I can actually do this because I'm learning how to do it, but I can do it? Like, I can do that? And I talked to my friends. They were on the same page because they had their passions and things that they wanted to do, and we were on the same page about it. And so we kind of hashed it out like our sophomore year. And then in our junior year, we took a class called Business and Animation. And we pitched that to our instructor at the time who ran an animation studio. And she said it was a good idea. And after class, he pulled me and one of my friends to the side because all of us didn't take the same class at the same time, but one of them did with me. And he pulled us to the side and he said, if you guys do this, you'll be my competitor. But he said, but it'll be a healthy competition. But we asked him for pointers and stuff, And so we weren't always called Creative Overdose. We after college, I'd say around 2000, like to officially get things started was 2011. And we were going under Digi Noir and, all these different names. And we were just trying to figure it out. And then my business partner, Nikita, she was saying, well, I have this name and we can use it. She's like, I'm not really doing anything with it. And I was like, well, what's the name? Don't hold out. And she's like, it's Creative Overdose. And I was like, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Everybody agreed. It was four of us, and we agreed on it. And that's what we did. We just stuck with it. And then after some ups and downs with it, we found our rhythm and everything, and we got started officially in 2014, like with a business license and everything, because we were kind of contracting for a while.
Right.
But we were using the Creative Overdose name, but then we actually went ahead and got our licensing, business license and everything in 2014, and we've been running ever since.
That is very cool. Have you run into anything that was like a stumbling block? I know a lot of people starting out, especially in anything creative, whether it's animation or music or movies or whatever it is, there's always something that crops up, and it's like makes you, completely redefine your whole plan. Did you go through that?
Oh, man, yes. Yes. It was a lot of stuff because we were still new. We didn't go in thinking we knew how to do everything. We had an idea, but we stumbled with, making contracts. We stumbled with how to talk and negotiate, just how to speak.
Right.
People about contracts and even building relationships. We were when we were in our early 20s, mid 20s, trying to figure this out while we're still working and still have our families and stuff. We're still trying to figure this out. So yeah, there were some bumps along the way, and just figuring out exactly what everybody's strengths were, time management, what was our focus, because and our confidence, because for a while we were building brands. That's what we started off doing, was branding. It would be like websites and flyers and graphic design stuff, and then animation, we would do character designs and short animation, but then we just had to figure out, no, what is it exactly that we're going to do, and we had to pick a focus, because we can't.
Yeah, is there anything that you found that worked better for you if you get discouraged? I'm thinking about maybe someone coming up now trying to do kind of the same thing in animation or really in any creative adventure. Is there some piece of advice that you would give to a younger person coming up behind you?
Oh, yeah. I tell them to do it and fail. Do it and fail, and don't be afraid of failure, because that's going to happen. Nobody's going to come out and just be successful 100%. You're going to fail. You're going to have some bumps along the way. But if you can get past that failure and, learn from it, then you're going to – it's easy. It's easy after that. You'll just know how to maneuver after that, and you'll learn from your experience from that. Because I think a lot of people will start, but once they hit that one bump or that one obstacle that just completely lets them know that, hey, maybe I can't do this, and that failure, a lot of them stop.
Yep.
They'll stop
yep,
and
do
do something else. Even if somebody tells you, maybe you should try something else, they'll let that eat away at them, and they'll stop. And so it's once you hit that, you got to get out of it. It's a little bump, but keep going. I've had instructors, when I was in college, they did a portfolio review, and 2 of them told me, why don't you think about switching to graphic design or something? And I sat there and I was like, no, I don't want to switch to graphic design because I like animation. I don't care if you don't like what I'm doing. What you don't like, somebody else will. It's not about, I'm not doing it for you, And I wasn't rude for saying that. I'm just defending my reason for staying in it. And when I did so, they said, that's what we wanted to hear. And then they let me go. I was like, what? But that's what I say. Just keep going no matter what. Just keep going no matter what anybody says, no matter what failures or obstacles. Just keep going, keep pushing. If that's what you're passionate about, you'll do it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, and that is something I agree with you. I've met young people when I was doing a lot of coaching, and they would hit that first bump or fail that first time and just throw up their hands and say, yep, I can't do this, I quit. You kind of have to be a little bit stubborn about your vision in order to really be successful. And I know you are, is that I don't think that's something that you can really be taught. I think that's something that comes with passion, with really being passionate about what you love. Yeah, absolutely. How did your journey with your animation career have an impact on your family? I know you have kids. I have kids. We've talked about that with kids and grandkids. But how did it impact your family? Were they completely supportive?
Oh, man. My kids, yes. My kids, yes, but my kids didn't know, which is it's so funny because I asked them like 3 years ago, I was like, you guys know I have an animation studio, right? And they didn't even know. And I was like, I could have sworn I told you. They are like, no, I didn't know it was a business. I thought you just did it and did like work some jobs here and there. I didn't know you owned a business. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's kind of, maybe that's on my part. But my kids have always liked me drawing. We used to draw together a lot, and sometimes we still do now, and they're a lot older now. But as far as the rest of the family, some of them did, and others had their doubts because, of course, it's how are you going to make money? Is it, how are you going to take care of your family on this? You might want to look at doing this instead. And I'm like, I hear what you're saying, and I understand your concerns, but this is what I want to do, and I'm doing it.
Right.
And, hey, we're okay. Everybody's all right. Everybody's all right, Nothing bad happened. Everything is good. So, but yeah, for the most part, everybody was very supportive. I come from a very big family. I have 15 siblings, and they all have my back. They all have my back. Not one of my brothers and sisters was like, maybe you should do something else. Everybody's supportive.
I think that's very helpful. I know when I started writing books, I had several members of my family tell me I had lost my mind. Now, I continued. It didn't make me stop. But still, having that support is really, really nice. Mm-hmm. Do any of your kids want to follow in your footsteps?
No. As far as animation-wise, no. They have their own things, and there's other things that they want to do.
Right.
Like all of them want to fight, so they all want to learn karate, and I've been teaching them off and on. So they know a little bit of self-defense things and some martial arts stuff. But my youngest daughter wants to be in film, and she wants to direct film, and so she's learning. She's doing that in high school now, but that's what she wants to pursue. That's her career path. And I was like, oh, that's perfect, because you can either do this in animation, you can do it in films, commercials, whatever. It's creative field. Pick something.
Yeah.
Pick something. You can go. So she's the only one that's really going towards the creative field. But my son and my older daughter, they want to start their own businesses, which they did in high school. They started their own business in high school, which was hilarious. My son would cook. He would cook in high school for the kids at school, and they would pay him, and he would come home, cook, and they would bring them their food. And then my daughter had a pet sitting service that she would babysit people's pets when they went out of town, and that was like their summer jobs, like summer and during school jobs. That was their business. They set it all up. They had I made little cards for them, and they ran that themselves. I was impressed.
Nice. That's very impressive. With your daughter wanting to go into film and directing, I encourage every young woman to do that. Please take that career route. We need so many more women doing these jobs. So, but that is fabulous. And having your own business is something that in my family was never done until I did it. And then again, they told me I'd lost my mind. But you have to just, keep going and don't pay any attention to what the naysayers are saying.
Definitely.
I want to talk a little bit about how you get your character ideas. You have, and I've seen a number of them, you have just this amazing vision, it seems, with different characters. Do you just start drawing? Do you have a picture of what you want to draw before you start going there? How does your process work?
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes I have an idea. I always have an idea. But I'm never really too sure of how I want it to look. So I'll usually just start sketching first, and this is something funny too. One of my business partner, Jason, makes fun of me about it sometimes. He's like, I draw faces first. Like, I'll draw a bunch of heads and different faces first before I even draw a full body. And he's like, you have a lot of head drawings. When am I going to see a full figure? I was like, I don't know. If the face isn't right, then the body's not going to be right. It's not going to match. But I usually start with a face, and it'll be just random faces, nothing really concrete or any details. And then if it looks all right, I'll make a body to go with it. And other times I'll just start with a full shape, like just a basic full shape of a gesture that I've drawn or something. And then I'll go in with details and come up with it from there. And if there are some things that I'm completely not sure about, I'll use a reference. And I can't stress using references like photos or something that inspires you. And I do that, and I'll start drawing from there. And looking at some of my favorite artists and stuff, and if I can get in touch with them, which for the most part I've been talking to a good bit of them, it's, just picking their brains and ideas how they would approach it, or, sometimes pick 3 words at random, like 3 words, and then draw a character based off those words. You can do that. So I've tried all those things, and they're all helpful. It's all good exercises to help. But that's usually what I do. I'll just start with a face or a head, and then I'll go into a body and draw a couple of gestures, and then I'll go in and finish it with detail and stuff. And if I feel like it or have the energy to, I'll color it.
That is all very fascinating to me because, like I said before, I cannot draw. But the fact that you mentioned, picking some words and then building a character around those words, as a writer, that's just incredibly interesting to me. Do you keep like a portfolio of different figures that you've worked on and then wait for a project to come along, or did you develop the project for the characters?
Usually how it goes is I'll, like for an animation, if they have a script, or I'll look at the character description or how the character's moving or what they're saying, and I'll come up with what I think the character will look like. But most of the time, the clients have an idea already of what this character is. I mean, they created this character on paper. So they have an idea of what this character looks like and how they would feel, but they just want to see it, try to get as close to it as possible. And that's what I do. I'll take whatever prompts they have or any examples or references that they might have had or any sketches that they might have done, no matter what skill level. If they have an idea and they've doodled it, I'll take that and I'll build on it. And then we'll tighten it up and polish it to their liking. So that's usually how it works. I don't have just set characters. I'm like, oh, you have a story here, we're going to use this character, because it might not fit. Okay. It might not be the look that they're looking for. Right. So I usually just take whatever they have reference-wise, prompts or descriptions that they have, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I am just fascinated with how the whole process works. I know on your website you offer a bunch of different types of services, commercials or series pitch packs, that kind of thing. Is there any one service that you guys do that you kind of like doing more than others? Is it putting the characters in motion, or the actual, series animations? What is it that you like to do the most?
Me personally, and I like the animation aspect of it. Just if it's motion graphics or explainer videos or just any type of movement, I love that part of it. Like I'm sit there like a little kid, like clapping my hands, waiting to just, oh, can I get that? Can I get that so we can make it move? Can we make it move? Or what can we do with it? That's where I am with it. The rest of my team, everybody has their favorites. Like with Jason, he's really good at directing. He's really good at storyboarding. He's good at character design. So those are the things that he he's on that. As soon as he gets a script, he's already looking at what the character could possibly look like based off what he's gotten. I think everybody really enjoys the animation part, like as a whole, the whole bringing it together as far as storyboarding, character designs, then animation, then coloring. I think everybody enjoys that whole process from beginning to end. One of my other three partners, Lakita Wilson and Stephanie and Alana. Alana's a writer, so she gets the script and she'll tweak it and fix it. And Stephanie's our editor. She edits everything. So anything that we have that we do, she edits everything. And Lakita does animation and web design and branding, and she can put your whole packet together. Like, she can just have everything organized. She keeps the rest of us in check, actually, because when we stray, she's like, get back over there and do your job. And we're like, yes, we'll do it. But she's really good at it, but she's also a really good painter and web designer and graphic designer. She handles everything. She built our website.
I like your website a lot. It's very informative, and it has an awful lot about who you guys are and what where your strengths are. I would encourage anybody to, take a look at creativeoverdose.com. It is a really, really well done site. One of the things that I notice on your site is you have you talk about Atlanta and the Southeast, and I think I would like to see you guys kind of, be known everywhere, not just in Atlanta and the Southeast. But do you mostly, the bulk of your business is like commercial design, or is it just, basic animation for series? It looks like you guys do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we're what you call a turnkey company, so we can do everything in one place. Like, we can do your sound design. We can do, if you need a website can be done. You need an explainer video or a whiteboard, we can do that. And we can do animated intros. We can do series stitches and all that stuff. We can do it for the skill set we have and the team that we have. But yeah, we just really try to focus on animation, and that's what we get a lot of. Actually, we get a lot of people that need the pitch series packets where they need like an intro or maybe like a few minutes of animation done, and then explainer videos is what we get. But yeah, we do work in Atlanta, but we get work. Most of our clients are like in New York, Chicago.
Okay.
California is the furthest we've been, and one client overseas was like in England, I think. So it's like, people reach out because they just do a search, and if they like what we have and it matches what they're looking for, they come and ask us. Sometimes they'll just ask us, what can we do, and we talk to them and we start working. Right, and
that is on your website. It does say you are, motion graphics, animation, interactive design. It just goes on from there. Who, if you could reach out to one type of client, do you have an idea of who that client would be? Is it a business owner or somebody trying to put together like a cartoon series? Who would your perfect client be?
Someone with money. No, sir.
Always.
I mean, that would be good. That's good too. But also, I think if it's somebody that's really passionate about their project, and they understand what's going to go into it to get done, we'll work with that as well, because we understand that that not all your clients are going to come in with $1 million budget. Everybody has a budget, and we can work. We will work within that budget to get what you need done. But I can't care more than you, though. That's something I won't do. If I care more about it than you do, then I might as well do it myself, or say, hey. And
that is your perfect soundbite right there. Is you're obviously very passionate about your work. And if you're working for someone who is not as passionate, at least as passionate as their project, you can't manufacture that. You can't make someone be more passionate about their project. I think really that's the heart of any creative person is, you know, we all tend to be very, very passionate people. And it's really, really hard to do a job for someone else who is not as passionate about what they need done as we are about doing it. I used to write commercial jingles, and that was so tough when you have, you know, and I know you guys have run up against this too. I'm sure you have, where you have someone who sends in a spec list of what they want done, and you try to get more information, and they're just, well, it needs to. But, you know, they have no passion at all. That does make it very, very difficult to work.
Yeah, it does, because now it's like, why are we doing this if you're just – because the feeling I get from it is if you're not passionate about your project, that means you're really not trying to get it in front of the people you need to get it in front of. And it's kind of like, well, I just got this thing done, and then you sit on it. And then it's not going to go anywhere. But if you're passionate about it and it's something that you're doing that you need, that you want to put out to the world and just get it out there, and you love it, this is your brainchild here, and you really want to get it done, we're going to help you get it done regardless. But now we're excited because you're excited about it. And that will, it'll just work out, and we know that it's not something that's just going to be left in the shadow realm or in the shadow somewhere. It's something that you're really trying to push and get out there, you know. And I say that because that goes right back into the SSBB that we did. We did that trailer for them. It's like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it did get picked up by 20th Century Fox. Like the series got picked up. Now, what 20th Century Fox does with it, that's on them, because now it's out of our hands. But it did get picked up.
Right.
And because they were that passionate about getting that in front of them, and they did. That was awesome.
I have someone who has sent in a question. What is it like building and running a business with friends? Apparently this person had a bad experience doing that. So how do you guys do it?
Wow. With a lot of yelling and long walks and sometimes the occasional physical altercation. But really, the way we've worked with it is I've known these people. We went to college together, and our relationship went further than college. I mean, I know families. We know each other's families. They've seen my kids grow up. I've watched some of their kids grow up. We've gone to each other's personal. We really know each other. It's like these aren't just my business partners. These are my friends. These are like my brothers. These are my sisters. We're like a small family. There's gonna be disagreements on things, and but we also understand that it's business, not personal. It's business.
Right.
When it's business, we keep it business. When it's personal and it's us, we keep that separate from it. We just don't really mix the two. Like, if you were on the outside looking in, you'd swear we probably don't get along just from the way that we talk to each other. If you were to sit there and watch us, you'd swear, I'm like, I don't think you guys like each other. I really don't. But what you're missing is that whatever the disagreement is, we understand that it's just that. You have to be able to take criticism. You got to be able to take direction if you're not the lead of the department. Even if you are the lead on the project, you still got to be open to ideas. And if something's not working right, don't beat around the bush. You need to be forward and say, hey, look, this isn't working right. With a couple of word enhancers. But, that's just how it is in business sometimes. It's like, it's not working right, fix it. Right. So fix it. You're gonna feel some type of way about it, but understand that it's not out of place out of malice, or hate. It's out of place of becoming better and doing what's needed. And so working with friends, first make sure that they can handle that. Egos get checked. Ego out the door. And understand that it's just business. It's just business, and it's nothing personal. And we've gone through that. Trust me, there have been some times where it was like, yo, you're going to have to, either you got to leave the room or I got to leave the room. but we're past that. That was in the early stages. We're way past that because we understand. We have that relationship. We have that bond, too. So I hope that.
Yeah, it did that. Let me see. He says thumbs up. So there we go. I think that is all. It takes everyone wanting to work together and wanting to, make things right. And so often, I know I've been in writers' rooms where everyone is just at each other's throats, and it's not personal. It's like, what is best for this story? What is best for this character even? So it does take kind of a thick skin to work with friends and work with family. And not everybody has that. Not everybody is cut out for that, for sure.
Right.
In the time we've got left, I want to talk about Zufu, A Tale's Tale. What can you tell everybody about that project?
It's a project that was written, it was created by Jason Lopez, and he's my business partner. And he was just doodling, he's just drawing some characters and stuff, some animal characters. And then he was like, well, I wonder what it would look like if I do this. And he was drawing the main character, which is Pang, who's a red panda. He just started drawing him and stuff. And then he asked me, he said, hey, come up with some characters. He was like, he was looking for some ninjas, and he was like, hey, why don't draw? Let me see your take on these ninjas. And he wanted them to be wolves. So I designed some wolf ninjas, made a whole clan out of it, and he was like, good, it's in the story. And we put them in, and he'd ask other people on the team and other friends, hey, what do you think about this? And drawing characters. And then we would redraw the characters and try to make them cohesive. And next thing I know, we're sitting on like 30-plus characters and no story. But he had an idea of the story. And so he started writing, and then he came up with a script or with a simple synopsis, like just a premise, if you will, of the story. And then he handed it off to Alana, our writer, and then she started writing and making it make sense because we were just going off ideas. We would talk to each other and say, what about this? What about this? And we would start drawing it and making these characters. But she helped really hone in and make it cohesive and coherent. And so now we have this world, Zufu, A Tale's Tale, where we're following the main character that's pretty much on a journey to find out who he is and what else is out there in the world because he was an orphan. And he was raised by an older man, animal gentleman, and he calls him his grandfather. He's always just called him Grandpa. And this person is teaching him, and he's training him in martial arts, and he's trying to help him understand that there are levels to this skill set that we have. Everybody in this world has this energy called Zu, right? But everybody uses their Zu differently. People can use it for growing stuff, or they can build. It's just like something that helps them with their skill set. And his grandfather, in this case, uses it for martial arts. And he's like, there are levels to this. But in order to reach these certain levels, you'll have to train under certain people because they use their Zu at this level. But he doesn't really show him how to do that. And so we follow him on this journey, and he's traveling and meeting all these other people, and he's meeting all these other friends and making friends along the way. And there's a point in time where he meets the wolves, and there's a whole thing going on, like a issue going on with the wolves, and he just happens to be there, but he ends up resolving this conflict in a way. But in doing that, he's also seeing how other people and other martial artists are using their Zu on a level he's never seen before. And so you'll get to see that. I'm trying to tell you things without giving you the whole story because I'm really taking myself back because I really like the story. The story is so good. But with that said, we have a small pilot episode that's coming out next year. And we've already got the storyboards for it. It's already written. And we're going to be sharing some of our progress on social media and on like streaming platforms like Twitch and Instagram and stuff like that. So you'll be able to see our journey as we build this world and get that episode done. then yeah, you can follow Zufu on Instagram and on Facebook. And we're in the works now, we're building a website for it, so you can get all your information in one place.
Yeah, in looking at that Facebook page, you've got some the characters. All the picture there, the post with all of the characters. Really, really creative and inspiring. The fact that you've got the story that you have, it's sort of life imitating art in hearing you talk about it, because it's a cooperative effort between everyone at your company to put together this story about a character learning to work with others and going through his life and learning lessons that he needs to learn. So I'm always fascinated by things like that. Really, congratulations on where you are right now, and good luck to where you're going with this. It's a really, really good story. Really good story. So you've created an entire world and everything with the story. Is it based on something that you've seen, or is it all just out of your own heads?
It's out of our own heads, but there are a lot of influences. And you'll be able
right.
to, and you can see it in there if you know what to look for. Like, we love anime, so there's a big heavy influence from anime. Things like Avatar: Last Airbender. There's some Samurai Champloo influence in there. There's Cowboy Bebop influence. I mean, those are just things that we looked at, and we were just looking at what they've done, and we're just pulling from those and looking at that and saying, well, this is how they did it. Now, how can we do it, and make it with our story?
Make it yours, yeah.
Make it ours, because we're looking at what they've done to get their projects done and what went into theirs, like as far as their lighting, their staging, their coloring, their marketing. What did they do? And we're saying, okay, what did they do? How can we use that for our show and stuff like that? So that's what we do, but we're heavily influenced by anime and action cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just it's a whole world that you've created there, and it's just I look forward to seeing what you come up with, where it goes. It's a big story. If there was one piece of advice or one thing that you would like to leave people with, what would you like that to be?
Don't quit. Just don't quit. That's it. I've seen too many people start and then just stop. And I get it. Life gets in the way. There are things you have to take care of, but there's nothing that says you can't do both. So don't quit. Just if you have to step back for a moment, and only step back for a moment, then do so. But always go back to it. If you work a 9 to 5, I expect you to work from 6 to 12 on your own stuff, right? Instead of working for somebody else. Not saying that you don't love your job or whatever. Love your job, but also take time to work on your passion projects or your hobbies and stuff too. So yeah, don't stop.
Don't stop. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I cannot tell you how much this has meant to me. I have really, since you worked with me on the project that I was working on, I have just really been wanting to do something to shine a light on you and your talent and your gifts and your passion about what you do. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know we've had a lot of comments in the chat room, and they're all, basically about things you have talked about, working with other people and, your passion and perseverance and, not being afraid to fail. So I know you've touched a lot of lives just today during this show, and I thank you for everything that you do. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate being here and helping any way I can to help people, continue pursuing their goals.
And please keep me posted on your daughter. I would love to know what she does
I will,
next.
Because she will not let me go a day without her mentioning to me, oh, what about this? Or can we look at this? So everybody will know. I will definitely let you know.
All right.
Be serious about
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Please like and share the show and make a difference for people everywhere. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. I'll get you next time. Bye.
Bye.